So Gordon, have you been collecting sound? How long have you been collecting sounds?
Well, it's interesting. I was just actually thinking about that. And this year marks 60 years that I've been collecting this stuff. It all started as an accident. I mean, when I was a kid, I was home recovering from surgery, and I was just playing around with my parents' tape recorder and the radio and doing all the, the microphone in front of the radio and stuff. And I remember doing it, and it was exactly at the time they broke in with the bulletins that JFK was shot.
Right.
And that became, I was absolutely riveted, as a lot of people were, but I was riveted and I was recording it. And then I thought, it was just interesting how the thing progressed during the day. And I thought, I don't know why, but I should be keeping this stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of became a pattern. I mean, it didn't overtake my life, but it just became the thing I did.
Right.
I would just record when something happened, and it's been that way ever since. And of course, when you start collecting this stuff, you become, sort of plugged in with a lot of other people who say, oh, you do this, you want this. And before you know it, you start becoming the magnet, no pun intended, of all the stuff, So
now,
as you can see.
Yeah, it looks like Harry Smith's collection back there or something, all these boxes and things, do you think of yourself in a long line of collectors like that? Like you're documenting things from the past?
It's weird because it wasn't, I thought it was at first. And then I realized I've got all this stuff. I really have to do something with it. And it was one of those things where you thought, okay, what are you to do with all this? What is this? Is this useless stuff? Is this stuff that should just be ground up and destroyed, or can you do something with it? And it was really interesting because, oh God, it had to be about 20 years ago. Rhino Records. I was doing some stuff for Rhino, and I just remember getting a call from Richard Foose. I don't know if you know Richard.
We know Richard. Sure.
Yeah, Richard actually called me and he said, I understand you got all this stuff. Have you thought about doing something with it? And what do you mean? He goes, well, we were thinking about maybe doing a package of speeches.
Right.
And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, what do you got? And I went, well, what do you want? And he goes, well, I'm looking for Kennedy and Johnson and Nixon and all this sort of stuff. He ran off this whole list of things. So he said, yeah, I've got all that. And he goes, really? So, yeah. And he goes, well, what if you want something you don't have? And I go, I've got it. I can find it. So we then put together actually the great speeches of the 20th century box. And that's how that happened. And then from that is like when that was released, all of a sudden, NPR started calling and started, what do you got all this stuff? And what it did for me actually was it allowed me to sort of find a purpose. This is a purpose for the collection, is to be able to share this with people. Because one of the last things I really wanted to do is have this sort of sit in some dark room collecting dust. And, it's interesting because I don't know, you growing up as a kid, me growing up as a kid, we used to go to record stores. And I remember there was always the guy behind the counter who said, kid, you're buying this. Have you thought about this? There was always, turn you on to this. And I thought, this is kind of a nice idea. I like that, to be able to impart things. And so at the time, there wasn't the technology, but it was very interesting because with the Rhino package, it sort of, sprang a lot of other things. One was Microsoft was starting this package, doing this, it was CD-ROMs. I don't know if you remember the CD-ROMs.
Sure.
They're doing this thing called Encarta. And they said, Gordon, would you be interested in working with us on this? I said, sure, that'd be great. So that kind of started a whole thing with Microsoft. And that sort of, again, gave, more reason to say, okay, this is what I'm doing. But there wasn't really the avenue that we have like now. With technology, as the ability to just grab things. And it really wasn't until the blogosphere developed and the whole political thing. And, it's interesting because a lot of this sort of came to a head around 2008. And I got to tell you, the one thing that was one of the real catalysts for me was the Yes We Can video that I believe you did. And it was because I was on MySpace at the time, and I remember putting that video on my MySpace page because for me it was like, oh, I saw possibilities that there was a way to do this to capture people's imaginations.
Mhm.
And so I became involved with a number of blogs and who said, you want to start putting your stuff up on our site. I said, sure. But what I found with the blog and the blogosphere, and I don't know if you come into contact with this, it becomes potentially very contentious. And
Right.
the people go on and all they want to do is fight with you. And that wasn't my intention. My intention was to turn you on to things you
Right.
might not be familiar with. And so eventually I just said, okay, I got to do something else with this. So what I decided to do is I said, okay, let's put together your own website. And that's when Past
Mhm.
Daily came about, because, and what it did for me was it opened up for me and to utilize my collection to a much greater degree. I went to doing political stuff, to also doing news, to also doing pop culture, to also doing music. And I thought, well, I do stand the opportunity or the chance to make things available to people and to turn people onto things.
Mhm.
And that
Right.
for me gave me a great sense of joy because I was able to do that. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
But you have this collection, it goes way back. I mean, you're collecting stories or propaganda from the 30s to 40s or speeches. How do you go and get all of that now? Are people still sending things to you at this point?
Yeah, no, people do still send things to me. And, it's also because I've had a good working relationship with a number of other archives. And, I've been I will supply, the BBC with material. I also supply, on occasion, CBS and ABC, the networks, because it's really interesting. A lot of the quote unquote old radio stuff, which is where news comes into, winds up becoming, the fodder for dumpsters. And a lot of that stuff gets tossed away. I mean, I remember once I got a call from ABC News, and they're saying, we're looking for John F. Kennedy materials. And I said, really? You do? And they said, yeah, we've got great visuals. We have wonderful visuals, wonderful film. We have no sound. So you're kidding me.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm selling the network back their stuff. It was just very
Yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah.
So that really sort of came about, and you just, when you get into this, the collector archivist sort of circle, people sort of look out for you and they say, would you be interested in this? We got this. And that's kind of how that's happening.
And I imagine what's on the site is a very small amount of your collection. Yeah.
At the moment, I put up between 3 and 5 posts a day, and there are about 10,000 posts. That represents a roughly 10% of the collection. And what what I'm doing right now is that I'm doing two things. I'm digitizing the collection because because there's a lot of stuff that's deteriorating. But in doing that, I'm also making it available on the site. So as it's being digitized, it's winding up. So right now there's roughly 125,000 reels of tape. That's not including also the transcription discs that go back to the 1930s. There's probably about 30,000 of those, and they've been getting digitized. But the one thing is, eventually it's all going to go to an institution. It has to.
Right.
But the other thing is that it winds up, what I would love to do is to be able to mirror what I've got on my website. So it's like, it's doing two things, but I'm trying to, instead of dumping it all at once, I'm sort of doing it over a period of, years.
Now, which institution would you consider for that?
I got to tell you, I've been trying to get on a number of institutions, but I'll tell you, they're becoming inundated with materials. Some of them are really strapped for space. I've been in contact with UC Santa Barbara over the past couple of years. Actually, they were going to come down and look at the collection. Unfortunately, it was right before the lockdown. So it just, it all kind of stopped. And in the interim, they got a hold of the collection originally from Pacific Pioneer Broadcasters, which wound up at the Thousand Oaks Library. And then they also got the formerly UCLA radio collection. UCLA originally had radio, TV, and film, and they just wanted to concentrate on TV and film, and they sort of got rid of radio. So essentially, they've got a pile of stuff, and they're going, Gordon, what are we going to do with your stuff? And, come back in a few years.
Wouldn't the Smithsonian be the appropriate place, or no?
The Smithsonian, it's funny. I mean, I haven't really been in contact with the Smithsonian directly,
Mhm.
but I mean, I've actually done work for the Smithsonian, but to the other archives, obviously the Library of Congress and National Archives, they've got stuff they haven't really even cataloged yet. That's one of the things. I mean, I don't know if they've done it now,
Right,
but I do know about 10 years ago, they had the NBC collection.
right,
They hadn't cataloged yet. So they didn't really know what they had. The other thing is that when you go with these institutions, I used to call the Library of Congress the nation's roach motel. It comes in, it doesn't go out. You don't have any
right,
access. And my proviso for turning over this stuff to any institution is that you've got to make it available to people.
right,
You've got to make it available to people because first off, you run the risk of eliminating things. And you also run the risk of being able to rewrite history.
right.
It's not here. It's like, do you remember the Godard movie Alphaville,
Sure.
where every few weeks they would come in and rewrite the dictionary and certain words would be missing?
Right.
That was never there. No. That's what I'm afraid of, is that all of a sudden it's like,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're there, Gordon. I think we're there. Jesse and I were talking, the libraries are under attack, book banning, all of that. And I wanted to ask you around this question of, you said, the blogosphere became contentious. How worried are you also that people can take the archive, take the story, if you will, and then do the deep fake, right? And change the language. How much are we rewriting history anyway? People are already doing that. So how important is it that you have it preserved in a way that hopefully no one can mess with it?
Well, I think the thing is that we are approaching the point where you can just about twist anything around. I mean, editing has become very, very sophisticated now, but you got to start from someplace. And as long as I have the originals, there are the originals. All you really do is, I mean, for me, it's like I put it out there and I hope that people will pick up on it and do the right thing. I mean, I can't speak for, the nefarious among us, but I can speak for the ones who really want to, be turned on to things that are useful to them. I think that's really critical for me. I mean, I grew up in a period of time where it was like you try to make the world a different place or a better place than how you found it.
Mhm.
And that has really been my goal. And it's really been my goal to just be able to make this available to you. And you really just hope that people do the right thing. You really do.
There's things in there that it strikes me that most archives are not collecting. Archives are not focused on, early Depeche Mode and Robert Plant's first song before Led Zeppelin, or the Police playing, where they sound like punk rock. These are things that I don't think. I mean, they used to be bootlegged, but it doesn't seem like there's much bootlegging going on anymore. And it's I don't know where I would be able to hear these things if I didn't have your archive.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's the pop culture stuff that I've been going after. And one of the things that I do is every night I will put up music, and if you listen to it, it's either by way of a session through like John Peel or it's a concert. I stay away totally from running commercial releases
Right.
because I don't feel, I mean, as a sort of quasi member of the Academy, I don't want to bootleg my own stuff. And it's like, I don't want to take money out of artists' pockets, but I do want people to be aware of the artist.
If we don't have those things, maybe they disappear. It's like I was listening to a Johnny Cash concert. I'm not sure whether I was listening on your site or some other site, but it's like, it's like he's going on stage at the Hollywood Bowl and he's, I might as well be there. You know what I mean? And it's like, I have no way to really do that. It's time travel to a live show, back at the very beginning. It's like, and these politicians, it seems like the things that you're choosing are usually unusual choices in and of themselves. So do you just get known for doing that and then that kind of material flows to you?
No, I just, basically as far as the material goes, what I have been trying to do is I will post something that has some sort of correlation to what is going on today.
Right.
It's interesting because the other day, we were on this whole thing about the banks, and I ran a few pieces from 2008 as a
I
reminder.
saw that. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you just really try, you try to correlate the things. One of the things I've been doing is, trying to correlate the whole healthcare situation, letting people know that this is not something that just happened in the past couple of years. This is something that's been going on since at least 1909. And it's just been, and just really making people realize that, history is that thing that does keep repeating. So there's no, I suppose I was actually thinking about that because I was thinking maybe I should just be random and just start throwing stuff up because it's there. But then I said, you would probably be better served by putting something that at least has some correlation to what current events are. But I got to tell you, the stuff that's going on currently, I don't see any precedents.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What are you going to,
I got to tell you, between
for...
2016 and, man,
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
The closest I came with was Harry Truman,
Yeah.
say, hell,
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah. Maybe some of those McCarthy things, but how do you find them? How do you go and say, I want to find a stump speech by Lyndon Johnson as opposed to, the actual things we all know?
that really comes with the sort of the research. One of the things that, again, it's like you never know what happens, and you sort of go on this thing. When I was working on Encarta, I was really working with a lot of editors who I would call children of the Reagan years, who were, they were not necessarily familiar with current events. They were, but they weren't necessarily, familiar with historic events. So I was called on to say, why are we putting this in? So what I started doing is I started collecting all of these library bound volumes of magazines going back to the 1890s, so I could have resources saying, okay, what's going on? So we're talking about Lyndon Johnson in stump speeches, and I would go back to, I go through all my books from say 1964 to 1968 and go, okay, well, let's try this. And then I've got pretty much a mirror of the LBJ archives and the Eisenhower archives, certainly the FDR stuff and Truman. And so you go, okay, just, you pull that date and you go
Right.
or you do that. So that's kind of what I do.
Right. Are you ever surprised by what you turn up or things that you find? Are there things in particular you go, wow, I'm really excited I found this?
Oh yeah. When I started thinking about doing this whole thing was during the 2008 election. I actually found, I think it was 1963 or 1962, an interview with Robert Kennedy, where he was saying that I see within 50 years a Black president. And I went,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, wow.
Really? Deja vu. So that was something that I thought, well, that's really fascinating. The other thing too, of course, is I'm working on a project right now where somebody is researching the Vietnam War, but they're starting it from the Tet Offensive. And I've been going through all the stuff, the Dean Rusk press conferences and the Senate Armed Services Committee hearings and all that stuff. And I've got all that material, and it's like really listening to it, and the Robert McNamara's and all those things. And, you listen to it with the perspective of, had I known then what I know now. Yeah. Listening to it and going, it was a dumb idea. It was a dumb idea. And even going back even further, going back to like 1954, because I've got all the Dien Bien Phu stuff, and I'm going, you weren't listening,
Yeah.
It's like, that's the thing, is like you do, the aspect of history is that it keeps repeating itself because you're not learning, for Christ's sake.
Well, you're not listening.
Yeah, you're not listening. Yeah. It's not getting in there.
Me and Priscilla did a piece with Lyndon Johnson's biographer. I'm totally spacing the name
Robert
of
Caro.
Yeah, Robert Caro. We did a thing with Robert Caro, and he said, what's important is you turn over every page. You don't go and try and edit the whole thing. You don't take any shortcuts. You just literally turn over every page. And it's the only way a historian can examine history, is just to bring it all in and then, make notes and write about it. Do you have to listen to every tape?
Oh yeah. No, you have to. I do, because you hear things. Part of the reason too is that why it's so important to preserve a lot of this stuff and why I put it up is because when you listen to a speech, when you listen to this testimony, you hear vocal inflections that take on a whole different meaning to things than what you see on paper. And that for me is the deal where you go, oh, he said this, but he said it like this.
Right.
Oh, so it really creates a whole different thing. So yeah, I mean, I do. Sometimes it's a little tedious, but I'm listening to 12 hours of, what was I listening to? Oh God, the mining guy. Oh, I keep forgetting. I space out, but he's doing testimony on mines.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, we're going on for hours. This was in like 1950.
Right.
What was fascinating about all of that was when tape came into being, it became the thing where they're going, let's record everything,
Right.
because we can erase everything too.
Right. Well, some people could, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what you think about the different, it's interesting because when you started, it was sort of that you were a kid in the Kennedy assassination, but with the difference between listening to something and then watching something, like what is for you, is there a difference?
Oh yeah.
What is that?
I think the thing is that the reason why I really gravitate towards radio and that is because you really get more in-depth. Film to me has always been sort of like an approximation of a story, because it's like we do cutaways. You can't do a cutaway with a microphone. It just sits there and it takes the whole thing. And I think that you can easily manipulate, I think, visuals probably easier in many ways than you can with the straight audio, and the other thing too is that you can get more in depth, I think, with audio than you can with watching something. And it's interesting to see someone's visual reaction to things, but there's also that deal about the vocal inflections too. So yeah, it's a preference for me. I mean, I grew up with radio. I mean, I just remember as a little kid, one of the first things I remember was watching the UN Security Council on the Suez Canal crisis in 1956 and seeing that, and it was like, oh my God, this is so weird. But it's like, yeah, and that, I think that was one of the things, it probably was a precursor for me liking news was, the drama.
Now, how do you get from there to, the new 1953, Malenkov's the new Russian boss, right?
Yeah.
From there to Depeche Mode, like what's the constellation of things that you're interested in?
The constellation, it's interesting that you say that, because a lot of people go, what the hell are you doing? It's schizophrenia. One of the great things about the internet is the fact that you don't necessarily do things on one level. So if you're a person who's coming in and seeing things, you can pick and choose whatever you want to. It's kind of like a cafeteria. I know people who can't stand news, but they love Depeche Mode, so they'll go after that. My feeling has always, my tastes run very eclectic. They always have. It's like, I have, I will run Igor Stravinsky and Depeche Mode, in the same breath, thinking that, yeah, you can do that. You can bounce around like that. That's very easy. That's very easy for me anyway.
Yeah.
That was part of the thing. Is like, what did you want to do with this website? How did you want to make this unique? And I thought, let's try and make it unique. I wanted to make it a comedy. It's really weird because even the look of the thing, I wanted to go after early Paris Match and a magazine that was very short-lived called Ken the Insider. Right. Which was an early Arnold Gingrich thing that Ernest Hemingway was a guest editor on. Right. They were very, it was big graphics, big photos. And I thought, well, this is really great. You sort of stimulate interest that way. And so I kind of went after that. And then the other thing is like, my thing about music is that I was really trying to emulate French radio. I don't know if you've spent any time on, France Musique. Yeah. You go over there, you got 1 hour you're listening to Shostakovich, and the next one you're listening to, Sonny Rollins, and then you're going by, all over the place. And it's like, yeah, people can do that.
It's
People
sort
can
of
switch.
like that. I imagine, were you friends with Hal Wilner?
No, I knew of Hal Wilner.
Yeah,
I didn't know him.
just very similar sensibility in terms of what could go on a record, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think we're all capable of that. We could do
Yeah.
it. And that's the thing that kind of bothers me about the current state of media, with
Mhm.
radio especially, is that everything has become so narrow that you think this is the only thing you like, which is why I think people are so disgruntled with the current state of music.
Yeah.
And that you're not being turned on to things. You're not looking at the entire picture. One of the things I love going after is I love going after overseas bands to let people know that music is just as important and just as vital overseas, and that we can learn so much.
Yeah.
I can learn so much from a French band or an Egyptian band.
Yeah.
Listening to them, that also colors what I'm playing as a musician. And so that's kind of what I'm going after.
Now, I imagine as you go further back into history, there's less and less stuff. I imagine, once you get back past the 40s or something, it starts to diminish the things that you can find. And, you talk about, a lot of the things in the collection now, we seem to have, do we have less media now? And, how do we kind of deal with where we are today in terms of media?
I think the problem potentially is we have too much media right now.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is we are bound with so many distractions. We have media as shiny object, where you go in wanting to find out about a story and you're getting so sidetracked. One of the reasons I stopped, I was initially, one of the things I was doing as a fundraising was to do advertising. So
Mhm.
I was signing up for, Google ads and all that sort of stuff. And I was realizing that what was happening was there was so much obnoxious distractions
Mhm.
that I was actually getting complaints from people saying, look, I'm trying to read about this. I'm trying to hear this, FDR speech. And you've got this so totally unrelated stuff that's popping in and it's being
Right.
distracting. And I thought, okay. And the other thing too is that there is this bizarre notion that people have short attention spans,
Mhm.
that everything is compressed into 10 seconds. And I think that's really kind of a problem that started pretty much in the 1970s. It's gone on
Right.
for a while where, you have radio, especially pop radio, going, we've got this great thing. And it's like, a 5-second or a 10-second interview, but let's stretch it out over an hour by throwing up, enough crap to distract everybody and keep it all going. So yeah, there is a sort of bizarre thing going on. It's burying a lot. But on the other hand, we have this sort of growth of what I call the citizen journalist, which is fascinating.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're watching all the stuff that's going on in Iran right now.
Oh,
All
yeah,
the
it's
kids that have got
incredible.
and I'm going, wow, this is so cool. They're able to do what I think a lot of the major news organizations don't do or can't do. And I think that might be a way that it's evolving.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you though, it's interesting to think about cycles because right now we are in this proliferation of podcasts, for example. Most people don't even do them we're doing with video because some people like watch. But
Mm.
do you think that there is a kind of a hunger to listen to people and to have to be listen again? It goes back to the radio part of a podcast, and thinking about time frame or time, attention span. So you have somebody, Lex Friedman, who I love, he goes on for 3 hours on a podcast, or, you go Joe Rogan, they go on and on and on. So what do you think about the rise of the podcast is it a return to something, or is it taking ideas from radio and bringing it forward?
I think it's taking things from radio, I mean, during the good parts of radio and bringing it forward. I think that the idea that people have short attention spans, I think is kind of a misnomer. I think you're basing that on a small portion of the
Yeah.
society. And I think people are capable of listening to a lot more for a lot longer. People really want to know about things, people really have a hunger for finding out. It's like, because we get so much distraction and so many curveballs and so much thrown at us, that people are really kind of hungering for, I want to know what the real story is.
There's no way to know where we
Never know you're
stand
gonna
anymore.
get it. How are you? You're never gonna get it. We don't know if we're getting the real story, but we are with you. But
Yeah.
No. Listen, that's the thing. It's like, and I think that's one of the problems that I'm certainly hearing about really right now with a lot of the, the current things that are going on politically. I think that people are not aware that there are certain things going on, but they are making assumptions that it means something else.
Decline and fall of Western civilization takes Gibbons takes place over roughly 300 years.
Yeah.
And when you read the book, we have no idea who any of these people were, and if he didn't tell us who they were, they'd all be lost to history, because he was a meticulous researcher. So he went back through and wrote this giant tome for us.
Sure.
let the audience know what you're referring to, just in case they want.
Just reading about Rome, and just trying to understand it, and all the emperors and all the people who lived there. But the thing is that when you read it, it's like, oh, okay, you might as well say, well, this is Ronald Reagan. He was there for 8 years. And then, because it's 300 years, you just have no idea who the people were or what they are. There's no other real history written about them. It's like when I listen to the archive, I think I'm teleported into a moment that really does need to be saved. And even though maybe in this contemporary time we may not understand it, future generations will have no way to retrace these steps except for this archive, and other archives like it,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I it's a lot of pressure on me, but I would hope to be the catalyst for it to happen with other archives. And it is to a degree. I mean, I was over at, what was the University of Illinois, and they've got this tremendous archive that they're putting up online, which is so cool. And that, I think, is one of the good parts about new technology. It's interesting because, you're trying to get so much preserved, but trying to present it in such a way that people really, can understand it. It's a daunting task, but we got to do it.
Now, all those tapes behind you, they're disintegrating, and so you transfer them into a digital medium, but a digital medium will last longer. And the digital signal itself is going to last forever, but the digital tape could degrade. Do you worry over time that what do we have to do to preserve these kinds of archives for all time?
I'll tell you, the deal with preserving the archives is that you don't ever get rid of the originals, because technology has changed so much. That there are methods of being able to preserve things that we weren't able to before. I mean, who came up with the idea of baking tapes? Because prior to that, it was like, well, this stuff is ruined. I don't know what we're going to do with it. And somebody came up with the idea, well, let's bake a tape. So as years go by, new technology comes in to make it, more possible. And that's the thing. So that's why you never throw away the originals. You never get rid of them. I think that's crucial because you can always improve on it.
You release 3 tapes a day. Out of all of those tapes, do you have your own internal playlist where you go back to this thing and you listen to it, and it keeps you on track? Like, is there a particular tape or show that inspired you, that you keep going back and listening to?
No, I got to tell you, I mean, I don't, because I'm always finding new things. So much has been recorded over the years. There's still so much left to discover. I mean, one of the things that I'm really trying to work on right now, and hoping someone develops it, is real-time translation. When I was actually working for Microsoft, one of the things that they were doing is we were doing Encarta. And then we were also they wanted to do international Encartas. And so they said, well, we need to find Japan, all these various things. So I started recording news from all of these organizations in native language. I mean, I have thousands and thousands of recordings, and I would love to play a lot of that on my site, but it's like, you're going to go through 2 hours of, Farsi. It's like,
but now you could do it with are you still close with the Microsoft folks?
No, they've all gone off and have new careers now. So
on the beach somewhere.
No, actually they're working.
Oh, really? That's funny. Yeah, but I think the next few years you'll be able to do, you could certainly do it off a transcript. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think you could, I think the kind you're talking about is they say a line, you hear the translation, they say another line, you hear the translation again. So it requires a
It would-
little
Or you
zhuzh.
see
It
it.
would probably be, yeah, it like a subtitle, sort of like running
Yeah, you
subtitle.
see it, and that, yeah, I think you could do that fairly, not easily. but I think you
That
can
could
do-
really expand, I think, the
Yeah.
scope of my archive and what I'm doing on my website, because I also have a lot of League of Nations recordings.
Yeah,
You know, I have some wonderful Haile Selassie speeches that I
I mean,
Yeah.
I was thinking, when you talked about, where your archive will go, this is a call out to all universities over the world. Get this man's archive. It is so important for academia, for history, for students, young students, college students, PhD students. I mean, it seems like you need to get this into in some kind of seems like a university, because there's so much here for study.
Yeah, no, it's as long as it's available. That's the thing,
Yeah.
It's one of the problems that I've had with universities is that they tend to put a blanket foot on everything. I mean,
right.
especially when you're talking about radio, they go, well, we can't do anything with the Benny estate, with the Jack Benny stuff. You can't do it. But what about news?
Yeah.
News is not high on collectors' lists.
Yeah,
Part of the reason I managed to get a lot of the sort of pre-war stuff was I would come across collections of, the radio shows, that sort of stuff, and I would trade them with people who go, you want news?
Mm.
And I would do that because they had no interest in
What would you trade them for? What would you give them?
Jack Benny, Jack Benny,
Aw.
whatever. No,
So-
you got to draw the line somewhere. Otherwise, it's insane. No,
You had
people
to
have
draw
said,
the-
why don't you collect news film? And I'm going, no,
yeah,
I can barely, hold on to what I got right now.
yeah,
This is so much stuff. It's just like falling out of my ears.
yeah.
I mean,
I-
and look, other people are so much better at doing it than I am. And that's,
Wow.
you know.
You say that, but it's like, it's a calling and it's pretty great. So it's like, you just gotta stay the course. You're on the track now. Nothing you
Yeah.
can do.
No,
Yeah.
it's look, it's fun for me now, because I mean, I'm doing this 14 hours a day. I have frequently fallen asleep at the computer.
Yeah,
Going, yeah, what are you doing? I don't know. You just go right out. But
yeah,
I love what I do, and that's
Yeah.
the thing, which is probably I'm always having these fundraisers where I'm going, he's
Yeah.
starving, but he loves what he does.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing this with us. This is a, fantastic insight. Really appreciate it, Gordon.
well, thank you so much for asking me. I mean, it's like I love being here and I love talking about the collection because I think it's important.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't want to be part of the problem. I don't think I've ever wanted to be part of the problem, with the exception of dogs barking.
yeah,
But to be part of the solution, I think, is the most important thing.
yeah. Well, thank you. And hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Oh, please do. Please, anytime.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye,
so
you
much.
guys.
Okay, take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.